Whenever I was 15 years old, I made a YouTube video called Top 5 Worst Movies Ever, and in that video, I said the following.
So finally, at number 1, the worst movie I've ever seen in my life is Tomorrowland.
And now I'm asking myself this very important question: is this still true? And today we're going to find out. I'm going to rewatch Tomorrowland right now, and then we're going to do a Redux review and see if it is as shit as I thought it was. On my IMDb account, I currently have this film rated at a 1 out of 10, and I want to go back and revisit this and see if it truly is still, in my opinion, the worst film that I've ever seen. I don't think it will be, because I have seen some fucking shit films over the years, but we're gonna find out. Yeah, this video came out almost exactly 10 years ago, so I want to see if my opinion has changed at all in those 10 years, if it's matured, if I have more of an appreciation for this film than I used to. I genuinely don't actually remember much about this film other than telling everybody that it was the film I hated the most in this world. Honestly, I have nothing but bad memories of this film, and I want to see if they're any different now that I'm older. I've matured, well, I say matured, I've aged 10 years. Don't know if I've matured, but I've aged 10 years since I had this opinion. I'm actually quite intrigued to see if this still places among the bottom of the barrel, and I'm gonna find out right now. I swore to myself that I would never watch this movie again, but for entertainment purposes, I'm going to. This is revisiting the worst film I've ever seen. Alright, let's do this thing. I'm gonna get this loaded up now. I've got my drink, I've got my popcorn, I'm ready to go. Time to see if this really is the worst film ever made. I'm gonna turn off the light actually, so that I can get properly into this. Alright, let's go. Oh shit. We did it. Let's talk about it. Alright, so I watched it again, and was that the worst film ever made? And to 15-year-old me, I have to say, no, it wasn't. I was very pleasantly surprised by that, I actually have to say. It was difficult to watch this without being biased, I guess, because I was watching this with the mindset that this was the worst film I've ever seen in my life. And the whole time I was watching it, I was looking for what was wrong, and I actually found quite a lot of stuff that was right. What's the plot of this film? A young eccentric girl gets paired up with an old grumpy man, and they try to save the world. That's pretty much it. In the video I posted whenever I was 15, I said,
I was 1 hour through and I said to myself, I can't watch the rest of this. This is awful. But me being me, I finished the movie. Why, oh why did I do that?
I got to an hour into this film and I was actually intrigued to see what happened next. Like, my opinion on this film has completely flipped. I don't think it's the best film ever made, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not the worst. Like, I actually had fun watching that. There was some charm in this, there was fun. I quite liked the acting from George Clooney and Hugh Laurie as well. I had no issue with any of the main characters. I thought that some of the supporting roles were quite entertaining. It was fun to see Catherine Hahn and Keegan-Michael Key as the robot shop owners. I actually didn't find the main little girl annoying, which I normally do. I normally do have issues with child actors, but I actually thought that she was quite good in this. What's the name of the main girl in this? Is it Brett something? No, not Tomorrowland the festival. Tomorrowland movie. Britt Robertson, that's it. Britt Robertson, got her. Yeah, all the cast was good. I mean, I had no issues with any of the performances of this. Actually, that's a lie. I had one issue. The robots that were chasing after them, I didn't like their very over-the-top, silly, like, deadpan performances. I thought that was a bit childish. Obviously, this is a movie that's aimed at a younger audience, so that's kind of an invalid complaint, but I'm going with it. I need something to shit on the movie for, you know what I mean? I thought some of the special effects were great. Some of them were quite ropey, to be fair, but a lot of the time it did hit. There was some janky CGI, like, body doubles in there. Like, quite a lot of the jetpack stuff didn't look great. But The special effects cutting from Earth to Tomorrowland were actually really impressive. Like, I don't know how they did that. Sort of like, that must have been a lot of roto for every time they touched the pin and they jumped to Tomorrowland. I thought that was class. It looked really good. I suppose most of my issues with this film lie mainly in the third act. This film is 130 minutes long, so it's a good length, but the last sort of 30 minutes, it goes quite quickly in the sense of they seem to solve the problem very fast, which for a movie that's about the end of the world, it doesn't really seem to be that much of a big deal, you know what I mean? They kind of fix it, and that's it. That's probably where my main issue was just I thought the film ended too quickly. They seemed to solve the issue of the apocalypse very fast just by thinking for a few seconds. Like, they're literally sitting in a room and they're talking, and then she goes, "Oh, I know what's wrong," and then he's like, "Oh, you're right," and then they figure out the bad guy's the bad guy, blah 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 blah, and it's done. So, like, they don't actually go to Tomorrowland until there's 30 minutes left in this movie. So, I don't know, it felt like the timing was misplaced, or that maybe they were hoping for a sequel. I don't really know. Was there ever supposed to be a sequel to this? Actually, that's a good question. Okay, there was no official sequel announced because the box office disappointment of the film. So the film bombed. Oh, yeah, there was a weird scene in Paris as well, which was just kind of pointless. I think they did that purely to flex the fact that they could go to Paris. I don't really know. Basically, they go from his house in a machine that teleports them to Paris to then get in another machine that teleports them to Tomorrowland. Why did they not just go from his house to Tomorrowland? I don't know. They definitely just wanted to have a set piece in Paris because they're like, "Oh, look, the Eiffel Tower is actually a rocket ship." And you're like, but it didn't need to be. You could have just gone. That kind of annoyed me, actually, that they made this whole Paris trip like a centerpiece of the mission to get there. It just seemed really out of place and kind of an extra repeated step that they didn't need to do. So that kind of actually annoyed me. That's one thing that did piss me off a little bit. So what has this taught me? Honestly, I should probably rewatch some films that I've hated on in the past, because if anything, all this has shown me is that opinions can change. And I have done that. I have done a full 180. I have regarded this film as my least favourite film of all time for 10 years now. And now I need to find a new one because I actually liked it now. So I need to find a new least favourite film of all time. And then maybe I should revisit that one as well. Back in my top 5 worst movies ever video, I gave Tomorrowland a rating, and this is what I said.
I would give it -1 million out of 10 if I could.
I think -1 million out of 10 might have been a bit harsh. I was on smoke whenever it came to this film back in the day. But I've changed my mind. I'm going to up the score by 1,000,007, 7 out of 10, 3.5 on Letterboxd. I guess I can officially say that this is no longer my least favourite film of all time. You know what, fuck it, the IMDb score that I've had since 2015 can also get changed, because why not? And yeah, there you go, Tomorrowland. Not the worst film ever made, apparently. 15-year-old me is going to be very disappointed in that. What am I going to answer now whenever people ask me what my least favourite movie is? If there are any films that you've hated on in the past, honestly, do yourself a favour and revisit them. You might change your mind. Or you might not. You could still think that your least favourite movie is a massive piece of shit. And this could just be a complete lucky one-off. Who knows? I mean, you won't know until you try, I guess. Oh, right, I'm going to bed. Fuck this. Please like the video and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and I will see you next time.